The media's been talking a lot about me, and I just want to prove them wrong. So what am I doing? I am spending every free moment of my life working on my craft. Whether that's running, whether that's exercising, whether that's kicking a ball around, it does not matter. I am on a mission to prove the haters wrong. And the only way I can do that and guarantee that is if I make sure that my body is in tip-top shape and I avoid getting injured and I maintain a positive and healthy lifestyle. So no, I'm not gonna be at the clubs. I'm not gonna be hitting up women. I'm gonna be focused and locked in. Eyes on the prize, the Premier League, the Champions League, and the FA Cup. That is what I want, and that is what I'm gonna get. And as we head into match week 26 of the Premier League, Arsenal host Liverpool. And the Scousers traveling all the way to London. And here's Karo finding Roger Fernandez. Rabiot on the ball, cutting back, unable to find Fernandez. And now Jarvis taking the ball down the right touchline. Jarvis cutting back, finding Trincao. Trincao able to find Ramos. Ramos with the shot, and Ramos putting the Scousers up 1-0 in the 21st minute of the match. And Arsenal have a mountain to climb immediately. And here's Karo on the ball. Ramos able to get past Karo. Bowie lobbing it over. Denis Karo heading the ball to Locatelli's feet. And now working with Bukayo Saka. And Karo making a run down the right touchline. Karo through on goal, has a shot, and just wide it goes. And Karo throwing it to Saka. And now Karo on the ball. Karo still on the ball, getting past defense, having a shot and putting it into the back of the net. Arsenal 1, Liverpool 1. And Ramos to Marino, the former Arsenal player. Kvaratskhelia on the ball to Marino. Ramos now finding Roger Fernandez, who finds Bukayo Saka. Saka finding Karo. Denis Karo on the ball, getting past the defense. Denis Karo still on the ball, through on goal, has a shot, and scores a second. As the Gunners take a 2-1 lead against the Scousers. And Karo runs to the corner to pose with his teammates as they celebrate, taking the lead against the Scouts. Arsenal up 2-1 in this match. And Locatelli on the ball. Locatelli to Udogie. Udogie finding Kvaratskhelia as the match comes to an end. Arsenal picking up a 2-1 victory against the Scousers. And with that victory, Arsenal find themselves at the top of the Premier League table with a total of 58 points and a record of 17 wins, 7 draws, and 2 losses, and a 3-point gap over title rivals Manchester United. And as we focus on match week 27 of the Premier League, we head off to Leicester City. Zalewski passing to McAteer. And Tresoldi finding Zaire Emery, who finds Karo, and Karo now sending it through to Zaire Emery, who curls it into the top left corner of the net, and Arsenal take an early lead. And McAteer finding Winks. And here's Bukayo Saka passing the ball to Semi, and Semi cutting back, finding Karo. Karo finding Saka. Bukayo Saka able to find Zaire Emery, who finds Karo. Karo through on goal, brings the defender down to the ground, chips the ball, and looks like an absolute prick. Here's Elias Jeller passing it back to Fatau. And now Karo with an interception, finding Roger Fernandez, who finds Semi. And now Rabiot passing it to Karo. Karo playing with the defense, taking the ball, smashing it into the bins off of the post. And Karo giving Arsenal the 2-0 lead. A tremendous goal by the team. And Denis Karo finds himself on the score sheet. And here's Karo on the ball once again. Denis Karo still on the ball. Past the defense with ease. And Denis Karo trying some skills, but getting brought down in the process. And as we can see, Denis Karo has picked up an injury. Whether it's going to be a serious injury, time will only tell. And although I'm injured, the match still proceeds and comes to an end as Arsenal pick up another 3 points and expand their lead at the top of the table to 6 points over Manchester United. But unfortunately, due to our injury, it means we cannot compete against West Ham in the round of 16 of the FA Cup. And as you can see, the other matches happening across the tournament as Arsenal travel to West Ham and pick up a 2-0 victory, which puts us into the quarterfinal where we will meet off against Burnley FC. And as we shift our focus over to the Champions League, we can see that we have managed to qualify for the Champions League knockout phase, where we'll face off against Milan in a match that will truly be a test for this Arsenal team. Can we knock out this historic Italian club? As we head into match 1 of the round of 16, Arsenal host Milan. And this match, of course, is going to have fireworks. And Milan getting us kicked off here. And here's Teo. Teo on the ball. Teo having a shot. Ederson's there to collect. Luca threading it through to Tel, who has a shot but is unable to score. Zaire Emery settling the ball, passing it to Karo. Karo assessing his options. Denis Karo dancing with the defense. Losing out on the ball, but getting it back in the process. And here's Karo through on goal. Denis Karo having a shot and putting it in to the back of the net as Arsenal take a 1-0 lead in the 15th minute against AC Milan. A tremendous goal scored by Denis Karo and Arsenal. And here's Luca on the ball, threading it through to Tel, who has a shot but is unable to score. And here's Ferran on the ball. And Ferran passing the ball back to Tel. Tel with a shot. Ederson is there to make the save. Fofana passing it to Rafa Leao. Losing the ball, but Xerxes there to pick it up. And Karo trying to take the ball off Xerxes. Zaire Emery finding Karo. And here's Karo now on the ball. Getting past 1, past 2, past 3. Denis Karo's a madman on the field. Denis Karo, can he score? And what a shit shot that was. And Reinders having a shot, but Yoro's there with the block. And with just a few minutes left in the first match, Zaire Emery clearing the ball over to Karo. Karo settling the ball, taking a big touch. And here's Karo on the ball still, with just 2 minutes left. Karo's through on goal. Karo is through on goal, puts it on his right, has a shot, puts it into the back of the net. And Arsenal take a 2-0 lead going into the second leg of the round of 16 of the Europa League. A fantastic goal by Denis Karo puts the Gunners up in a comfortable spot. And as we take a look at the results across the board, we can see that Arsenal may have to come up against Bayern or Chelsea. Only time will tell. And as we shift our focus to match week 28 of the Premier League, Arsenal host Tottenham Hotspur. And of course, this match was a match that was going to be intense as Diogo Jota has a shot in the 20th minute. James Maddison passing it. And now Kingsley Coman on the ball. Getting stopped by Arnau. Karo taking the ball. Cutting in. Getting past one defender. Denis Karo still on the ball. And none of these Spurs players want to step up to Denis Karo. And Denis Karo has a shot and puts it into the back of the net. And Arsenal take a 1-0 lead in the North London derby. A tremendous backflip by Karo, almost breaking his leg. But nonetheless, the Gunners take a 1-0 lead against the Spurs. And Saliba with a big boot. Zaire Emery finding Karo. Dennis Karo challenging Botman. Botman with the stop. And now Karo getting the ball and having a shot and scoring a second in the 50th minute of the match. And a backflip by Karo to show the Arsenal fans that it is time to party as the Gunners take a 2-0 lead in the North London derby. Diaby on the ball, finding James Maddison. Laturo having a shot and almost managing to put it past Ederson. Bowie finding Karo. Dennis Karo assessing his options, passing it to Roger Fernandez, who passes it back to Karo. Karo is through, on, goal, and Dennis Karo cutting into his right foot, trying to chip, but looking like a prick. And with just seconds left in the match, Arsenal maintaining a 2-0 lead and managing to pick up a victory against the Spurs. And that very important victory in the North London derby sees Arsenal remain at the top of the Premier League table by a total of 6 points to their title rivals, Manchester United. We have a record of 19 wins, 7 draws, and only 2 losses after 28 matches played. And as we focus back on the Champions League, Arsenal travel to Milan, a place that they have won before. And we are gonna need to repeat that magic if we want to move on and advance in the Champions League. And in the 16th minute, we have a free kick, and Dennis Karo lining up, looking to hammer into the top corner, and Maignan with the save. And Maignan collecting the ball again. Ruben Loftus-Cheek passing it to Rafa Leao. Loftus-Cheek on the ball once again. A brilliant pass to Luka. And now Rafa Leao with a shot, and Ederson's there with the save. And Xerxes intercepting the ball, but unable to get the shot off. A stalemate in the first half, and now the second half begins with Dennis Karo on the ball, finding Rabiot. Rabiot passing it to Saka. Saka back to Karo, and now Karo's trying to make some magic happen. Karo getting past one defender. Toying with the defender now, passing it to Saka, who finds Rabiot. Karo on the ball once again with a fake shot. Dennis Karo turning with the ball. Dennis Karo through on goal, having a shot and unable to score. Roger Fernandez passing it to Karo. And Roger's brought down, and it is a heavy tackle by Fofana. And that tackle will see Fofana get sent off in the second leg of the round of 16 in the Champions League. And Arsenal now have been given a huge advantage. Just 30 minutes left in this tie. And we have to hold a 2-0 lead. But as we know, that is the most dangerous lead in all of football. As Teo passes to Rafa Leao. And Rafa Leao back to Ferran, who has a shot and does brilliantly to smash that into the bins and bring Milan back into this tie despite being a man down. What the hell is happening? And Ferran with another shot again. An absolute onslaught by Milan. Arsenal have to hold on for dear life for 12 more minutes. And here's Roger Fernandez passing it to Semi. Semi threading it through. Dennis Karo on the ball. Karo unable to have a shot. Zaire Emery threading it through to Karo brilliantly. And here's Karo on the ball. Cutting back, cutting in. Karo passing it to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka unable to pass. And Maignan collects the ball as the match comes to an end. Milan winning 1-0 in the second leg, but it is not enough to overturn the 2-0 lead Arsenal took in the first leg. And as we take a look at our next opponent in the Champions League, we face off against Chelsea in the quarter-final. Meanwhile, PSG will face off against Leverkusen. Leipzig will face off against Real Madrid. And Man City will face off against Inter. And as we head into match week 29 of the Premier League, Arsenal traveled to Luton Town. And Luton Town was bringing the fight until Saka was able to take the ball off Berardi and find Karo. And Dennis Karo had a shot and put it into the back of the net and made it 1-0. A beautiful team goal by the Gunners. maintaining their lead at the top of the Premier League table. But we were not done there, as Arnau found Karo, and Karo bravely took it past one, past two, and Karo was still on goal, but lost the ball, but applied defensive pressure and was able to intercept a poor pass and put it into the back of the net and make it 2-0. A tremendous display by Karo against Luton Town. And Karo was hungry for more in the 60th minute, as I found Semi, and Semi found me, and I was able to have a shot and bounce it off Menji and put it into the goal and make it Luton Town 0, Arsenal 3. And Denis, Karo and company showing a tremendous display of football to their fans. And in the 89th minute, this match was all said and done, but Karo wanted just one more goal on the score sheet, as he went through on goal, had a shot, and almost put it into the back of the net and just fell to the ground. And Arsenal picked up a 3-0 victory against Luton Town, which brought our total up to 67 points after 29 matches played. Our record stands at 20 wins, 7 draws, 2 losses, and we are 6 points ahead of title rivals Manchester United. And taking a look at our performance in the FA Cup, we managed to move on to the quarterfinal after defeating West Ham United in a match that I had to miss through injury. And looking at the teams left in the FA Cup, Arsenal surely have to favor their chances of winning the whole thing. Can Arsenal win the FA Cup? Only time will tell. And taking a look at the Champions League, after our victory over Milan, Arsenal will face off against Chelsea in the quarterfinal. Meanwhile, PSG will face off against Leverkusen, Inter will face off against Man City, and Real Madrid will face off against RB Leipzig. And taking a look at what we can expect in the next episode of this career mode, we will find out our fate in both the FA Cup and the Champions League and see if we can maintain our title challenge. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. This has been Denis from Climbing Wall Gaming. Make sure to have yourself a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.